And then the biggest school of Rome, the biggest school of gladiators was here, close to the Colosseum.
Oh wow, we're going into the depths of hell.
See?
Yeah, exactly. Ah, gladiatori nell'arena.
See, now here you can split into groups, both sides of the sides here. So you have the best view here in front, on the right or left. So This is the long axe of the amphitheater, and you can see the arch in front is one of the main gates of the gladiators. On the opposite side, we have the other gate. This is considered one of the cruelest spaces ever existed in Rome and in the empire, actually, because they had here also the cruelest games of antiquity. These are some helmets, so with the video you saw and with these helmets you can have an idea of the weapons, the armory. There were different names for the gladiators. Murmilla, for example, is typical of the gladiator with this fish-shaped helmet, very heavy, and they were trained for these games with heavy armory, the shield, or also the word gladiator derives from a short sword used in antiquity in military campaigns, typical Roman sword, a gladius. The trident, for example, the legiarius was the gladiator that used the net to trap the helmet or the weapon of the opposite gladiator. And they had also the trident, the net and the trident. Also for these helmets, all these, let's say, works of art, because the decorations were amazing, are not preserved because same thing, all these artifacts were used just now. Museum, and for 2 months we have these two. These are original helmets.
And they were actually used?
Yes, during the fights. They were used during the fights, and the gladiators. It's also known that the neck was different, and to train always with these heavy helmets. And there was always the shield on one hand and the sword or other weapons in the other hand. And they could fight on foot, horses, or chariots. But mainly the games were organized in these fights on pairs, two gladiators. The winners sometimes had to continue. They were prepared for surprises in the arena, because the winners sometimes had to continue the fights because animals appeared from different holes. So they were trained. They knew that they had long fights inside the arena. And here, if you want, you can have a look at these niches. And there was always a referee with a stick. They had to keep a certain distance. These are the oil lamps. Small bronze statue. Look at the details of the statue. This is ancient. It's much better than nowadays souvenirs you can get. And the oil, and together now we reach the main space inside. You see holes everywhere. I forgot also upstairs, holes in the building. In all the holes were fixed metallic supports and everything for connections between the blocks of travertine. But when during the middle, look at the structure. When people during the middle discovered the metal, the entire structure of supports was removed, melted. We have here, like now, same thing. Same main picture, arches. There were many different entrances for the gladiators in the center, for animals. Now the animals that entered here in the cages were a small size, let's say, not for elephants. The hypogeum was not used for elephants or giraffes, but mainly for leopards, bears, tigers, lions. So all these animals that could fit in these cages. And I will show you. Look at the system of the door. Of travertine stone with holes. This is very important. Still preserved. Throughout the arena, where the hypogeum, you will see now this system. With travertine, here also the metallic is preserved and holes in the side. Now I'll show you how to have this system. All around and a labyrinth here. The structure was very simple. Main corners in the center of the gladiators. Now, once animals were in Rome, in no way they had to die. So it was better to organize games here or not to give entertainment to Romans before. So elephants, also giraffes, they brought here crocodiles when the Colosseum was flooded. We have many informations about exotic animals from Africa, from Asia.
Wow.
This is the system of the aqueduct. Now, you see the water. For 2,000 years there was water here. Imagine this space empty. Now remember that this level was built later. First years from the inauguration, the arena floor was made of wood. The holes you will see everywhere, you saw also the holes in floor, were used to fix the pilasters of this structure and the lifts, very simple lifts, machines in antiquity. And the entire structure was removable. So during the first years, when there were no walls here, the Colosseum was flat. This space is 6 meters and half deep. Maybe you have seen paintings of this space with water. Now the Colosseum is looking as an artificial lake, and they organized it in Roma here. They just flood this level. It was very easy. Here you can see the original floor still preserved. And also the years, the center is the apogee was in use. There were problems here with humidity, and it was very difficult to restore and to reuse spaces. Now there are 2 levels. 4 or 8 levels turn around the concept, and on top you can see the round. And in the space you can go closer. And the cylinder in the center was same thing, fixed always in the floor. And I gladiators, so they will enter here. Now you will see. Now while we walk here, you will see sometimes the arches of the upper level preserved, sometimes the lower level. So there were 2 levels with arches, and you have large corridors or narrow space. Here, this is the corridor of the cellas. Here, you can see all these shafts, very small space with arrivo.
So this was the first floor level?
Yes, the first level and second level, the arches, be careful. Now be careful when you pass through the arches of the Be careful.
Yes. Really? I don't know how we're going to get there.
Now this is the crust the short and the long acts of the amphitheater. The bronze crust. Do you see here the crust in front? That's a crust added later. Now the use of the Colosseum is before Christianity, but the crust was added to sign the most important seat, the podium, the center. The podium of the emperor was in the center. Now, so
where's the arena floor at?
Is this the
now
arena
there
floor?
is no arena floor. This is the backstage. The arena floor is that section.
Okay.
This space was covered, so we missed the arena. And here. Now it's like we are now here somewhere in the center. We see this section of the arena. The arena floor, they will cover the entire area.
Right.
Now arena, there is no arena inside the Colosseum because arena in Latin means sand. The arena was the sand used to absorb the blood because the stage was always made of wood. But imagine blood here. From the first festivities when the Colosseum was inaugurated, they had to find a solution how to clean and how to reuse the stage because of the blood. So this layer was very important. That's why all the ancient amphitheaters are known as the arenas of blood because of the sand used to absorb the blood, and they could remove the arena very well.
Right?
I'll never look at the word arena the same again.
These are the public mosaic of public executions. Here now we walk toward the gate of life. So we entered from the side of the gate of death, and on the other side we have also the connection, and also the original floor is preserved. Romans were shorter. Roma's height was 150, 160.
So at what point was built?
This is from year 83 and a few, probably one
So,
or 2 years left.
Full open arena wasn't. Was that like half the time that this?
No, now this is just added because before this level there was still the arena floor, but only the arena. The space was empty. They had only wooden
Okay.
structures. They still could bring here animals or gladiators waiting,
Okay.
but mostly it was just. C'è un signore che è rimasto dietro di noi, che sta con noi, credo, ma mi ha detto vai avanti.
Grazie.
So the stage was always the same. Initially, Romans used the Greek theater, the half arena, but they realized over time that by rotating to Greek theaters, the oval shape was better for long fights, no corners. And the amphitheaters were made of wood for games in open spaces with these temporary constructions. But initially for centuries, Caesar, for example, Caesar is before the Colosseum. Caesar loved the gladiatorial combats, and Nero also participated. The most famous one is Commodus. Commodus participated. He wanted to enter in these arenas, yes, because he was jealous about the popularity of gladiators. And Commodus is Mark Aurelius' son.
Ah.
Purple, yes. The only emperor that did not choose who was going to become an emperor, but he just left the empire in the hands of his original son. Because usually the emperors, before dying, they decided who was the most prepared. Yes. No, he did not. You know, Commodus was not. Mark Aurelius died, and there was not a.
So he inherited the throne?
Yes, he inherited, but the problem is that Commodus hated his father, and Commodus was another crazy personality, same as Nero or Caligula. So there are some moments, and from Commodus we have the beginning of decline, because Commodus changed everything. But in that moment in the history, Rome was huge.
He was more of a dictator.
Yes, kind of. And,
I imagine that's like a regular
they used
king.
all the,
You're a
the power
dictator
and
by default.
the money of the empire for their own pleasure, so that was a big problem. Now here you see, vado solo un secondo avanti
Exactly.
and from this side we use the stairs here to reach the arena floor. The gladiators. On this side we have Porta Triumphalis. When they exit, this was a symbolic exit because from this side with the stairs we will use now, had to reach at the end of the game, the winners had to come back here.
Yep, it's time to leave.
The stairs here were
Of course, more stairs. Hello, Roma. Oh, the door is closed, huh? That's all right.
We're all now gladiators.
We'll just hang out and pray. Somebody opens the door for us. Talk about getting stuck in the underground of the Colosseum.
That's what
Make your money worth.
Exactly.
I hope.
There's water.
Right on. Yeah. You first.
This is the side of life anyway. Hey, scusami. No, she can't hear us. Sorry, can you pull me the guide of Eccola?
Oh.
Ah, ok. Ma abbiamo fatto tardi.
Grazie mille. All right, we're out of here. We're not drinking aqueduct water.
Certo,